You're watching Media Week. Let's check in on some of the stories that have been making news in the media sector this week with James Manning. James, let's kick off with MasterChef because we saw a full week really for the MasterChef contestants over in WA, and that was actually partly funded anyway by WA Tourism.
Yeah, well, they started the week, a couple of nights it was, I think. Yeah, it came out that WA Tourism, I think they got a pretty good deal. There was a report that they had a contribution of maybe around $130,000 toward the costs of getting everybody over there and back and putting them up. If that's true, I think WA Tourism got a pretty good deal. Probably so did MasterChef. I think it worked both ways. One day at a big open cut mine out in the Pilbara or something, wherever it was, and then down near Margaret River for another challenge. It looked great, and I think viewers like it when the show gets out and about. They've recently been to New York.
Yeah, I mean, there were some great pictures. So do you know how it rated?
It looks great, yeah. The ratings this week have been very strong. It was the couple of record nights, the best ratings since the launch week, so it's done very well.
Excellent. Let's move over to, I think it's 7, Downton Abbey, new program. How's that been going?
Yeah, fantastic. Started Sunday night, 1.8 million. 7 are calling it the best drama series launch since Packed to the Rafters about 3 years ago. So, yeah, fantastic business.
Okay.
People loved it.
People did. I didn't see it. But now there's another program coming up on 7 too, which we'll be seeing in a couple of weeks. And if you like the media, this one's pretty good because it's really behind the scenes of one of our best-known women's magazines. Yeah,
Marie Claire. It's part of the 7 family, if you like, Pacific magazines, monthly edited by Jackie Frank, and the camera virtually follows her around and day-to-day issues she faces. It's pretty interesting. I've seen a little bit of it. There's a clip up online if you want to go and see it. Marie Claire's been in. They did tried to develop a program with 10 a few years ago. It didn't really go anywhere. There was a series in the US called Running in Heels, which was a similar thing behind the scenes. So I think this will do well.
Now, I mean, we tried to do this with Park Street. Similarly, there was a program on Foxtel and that didn't rate very well at all. Is this a different format?
Yeah, it is. I think it focuses more on the editor of one magazine, as I think Park Street maybe the challenge was. Like we did have Brian Walsh in here, and he thought it was quite successful. You know, that's not just about ratings. That subscription TV offering, you like, was his argument. But it's different on a free-to-air channel, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
But
I think the focus his point was that you know, you're only looking at ratings in one time slot, and it was being played.
Yeah, half a dozen times across the week. Yeah.
Moving on, we've got some changes going on at Fox Sports. They've had quite an overhaul recently. Yeah, we've talked about it. We had him on here, didn't we? We asked David Malone, you know, why was he leaving? Where was he going on to? Now his second in charge, if you like, is heading off. John Marquand, he was Chief Operating Officer. He's been there since day one. So Patrick Delaney, of course, is moving in there, taking over. So people are expecting some further change, you know, and with the whole media landscape changing this year with the Foxtel All-Star merger, you know, that's people are thinking, well, maybe there's some realigning going on there between the partners that own the Premier Media Group, which runs Fox Sports and Foxtel. You asked, I can't remember whether it was Kim Williams or John Porter, but we discussed that with them last week when this came out. Wasn't it you? Maybe it was at the media conference. I remember you asking if there were going to be changes at Fox Sports and at NCN,
I think after
and all
that,
those kind of related agencies.
Yeah, and then when they did the AFL deal, we were asking, it was interesting, what's the relationship between, you know, Foxtel and Fox Sports, because Foxtel buys the rights, if you like, but Fox Sports sort of gets the glory of screening it, although that will change slightly this year with a dedicated AFL channel. Yeah.
From Fox Sports, Foxtel, so there's been some more changes to the offering that Foxtel has on Xbox 360.
Yeah, so you can get a bunch of channels there, quite a low subscription cost. I think it's $20 or $30 a month. There's no sort of contract you've got to go onto. It's just a casual basis. They're going to offer unmetered downloads if you watch it through Big Pond, if that's your sort of broadband supplier. Plus they're going to throw in all the Big Pond TV channels. There's 6 channels they offer, mainly sport. I think there's V8s, AFL, NRL, some horse racing, so all that stuff will be a bonus for you.
How important is the new channels, I suppose, that Foxtel and All-Star have been using, Foxtel in particular, obviously, but if the deal goes through, then obviously All-Star customers will get to access those as well. But how important are these different channels to the reach of subscription television?
Yeah, I just think you've got to keep refreshing the offering, you know. It's just a bit of... some of those niche channels will only, you know, perhaps appeal to a small segment of the audience, but it might generate a few more subscriptions.
Some more leads.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the Astra Awards. This is the subscription television families, I suppose. Night of Nights. It's like the Logies, but in pay TV. So we've got the nominations out now.
Yep, 53 different nominations. Sky News did very well. 6 separate different nominations there.
It's been a big year for news, has to be said.
Other sort of multiple nominations for Lifestyle did very well. 7 separate programs nominated there, and Channel V picked up 6. Usual suspects too also included Fox 8, W and Fox Sports.
I mean, obviously it's been a big year for news. We can talk about that, but for Lifestyle as well. Obviously, you know, launching new channels seems to be going gangbusters, and this hunger we were talking about with Nick that Australians seem to have for sort of lifestyle programming, just not waning at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As we see in the ratings every week, that lifestyle channel's always got something at the top.
Now, Nova, here's an interesting story because some of the stars of the 7pm project are moving, what some might say into, but back into, in some cases, into radio. Yeah,
Carrie Bickmore and Charlie Pickering, there's taking over, they're going to network, because breakfast is always very local. They never network it, but there's a 2-week ratings break, if you like, later this month. And Nova, 5 stations. I think maybe only 4 of them are taking the network breakfast show. So it'll be Carrie Bickmore and Charlie Pickering. Carrie used to be a Nova newsreader in Melbourne for many years, so she'll be sort of returning to radio, if you like, for those 2 weeks.
So this is when 7pm projects...
No, 7pm, they'll be doing both.
They'll be doing both?
Yeah.
That's a long day.
Sort of, getting up at 4 or 5 a.m. and then you're knocking off at 7.
Okay, well, good on them. And a final story that I just wanted to touch base with you about, we probably should have actually spoken to Nick about this when we were talking about what's been going on at Channel 9, but there's been a program that Eddie Maguire had that has been given the chop.
Yeah, Between the Lines, I think we might have mentioned, hadn't been going too well. Ratings Thursday night, it was a sports panel show. But they found it hard to find an audience. Didn't do too bad numbers in Melbourne, but outside of the state it didn't do really well. So they gave it a few weeks, and hadn't been a great year for Eddie's $1 million drop. Didn't really go anywhere. It was all over the schedule, looking for an audience. And This Is Your Life, they did a few of those earlier this year, and again, didn't really gel.
Okay, let's, while we're on television, have a look at the ratings for week 22. This is in the free-to-air space. Topping the list this week, or last week I should say, was the State of Origin. No surprises there, followed by Australia's Got Talent and 7 News on Sunday. MasterChef on Monday was 4th place, State of Origin pre-match in at 5th. MasterChef Sunday came in 6th, 9 News Sunday in at 7th, MasterChef Thursday and Dancing with the Stars in at 8th and 9th position, and The Big Bang Theory rounding out the top 10 for this week. Interesting, James, to see 9 News in there because, you know, the last couple of months it just seems to have been 7 News, 7 News, 7 News, and it's obviously, you know, very much a reflection of being, you know, leading up to some of these big shows like Australia's Got Talent or whatever it might be. But, you know, 9's sort of sneaking back in there now. Yeah, 9 News, to give it its due, it's always quite competitive along that eastern seaboard. It's where in those national figures it falls down in Adelaide and Perth, particularly in Perth, where Perth sometimes 3 to 1 the audience watching 7 News compared to 9 News. But it's, you know, 9 News will often win Sydney, often wins Melbourne, some Brisbane, you know, so it's very competitive there. All right. Subscription TV ratings for week 22. We'll start with sport. NRL, I should say. The Cowboys v Roosters in first place, the Knights v the Eels, and the Eels v the Sharks in second and third respectively. We then go to AFL. Collingwood v Adelaide was 4th, and West Coast v the Bulldogs in number 5 spot this week. To non-sport, Beanie's Restoration Nightmare in the top spot, followed by Tim Winton's Cloud Street in second. EastEnders coming in at third, The Simpsons at 4th, and Family Guy rounding out the top 5 this week. We discussed, James, last week, Cloud Street and the ratings there. We did say in this sort of genre it was one of the best performing programs on subscription television. Yep,
did well, grabbed number 2 spot there, and it's the most popular show ever on Showcase.
Okay, now, one thing we didn't talk about this week, we didn't quite get to it, was the newspaper research that you've seen come out. So just quickly, What have we been... This is stuff that came out from Roy Morgan.
Roy Morgan Research. Something we've been doing for a long time. It's been offered to the newspaper publishers have been able to see it, but now it's out to the trade, and it shows sectional readership. You know, what the readers go to in the newspaper. There's only ever been one figure, but now you get figures on, you know, who reads the news, who reads the business.
So will it change where people want to put their ads?
I think it will. It just showed a few interesting things. News is obviously number one, but things like the TV guide, the TV reviews, movie listings, you know, are the second most popular things in the newspaper. You know, that stuff's really important. You know, business ranks a little bit lower down, gets a very exclusive audience, which the publishers like. But in terms of, you know, there's a few interesting things that came out.
Some nuggets of advertising gold there from James Manning. We thank you.
Thanks, Guy.
And we thank you as well for your company. That's all we've got time for.